for the safety and well-being of the world. As far as the statement is concerned, I think it reflects a growing acknowledgement that the Chinese Communist Party has pursued both economic and foreign policies that allow them to benefit from all the good things about the global order, but ignore all of its responsibilities in ways that leave us in danger of being, not just us, but the broader world, of being overly dependent on China for critical supply chains, for rare earth minerals, for key technologies. In the case of Europe, you'll continue to hear a lot of frustration on their part that Chinese overproduction, for example, of electric vehicles are dumped into their economies. And so guess what they have done? They have imposed tariffs. You know what Canada did? They've imposed tariffs on China as well, because that's what countries do when they feel like they're being treated unfairly in trade and commerce. And we support them in doing that. We think that was the right choice in their regard. And we've imposed tariffs on China as well. All right.
Is there an offer?
Who had a comment?
Rubio,
yes, sir.
Would the U.S. be open to an agreement with Hamas to get American hostages released separate from the Israeli hostages, like including Adon Alexander?
Well, I think our priority always, as the U.S. government, is always that we care about all the hostages. We want all the hostages released. We believe they should all be released. Okay, and that, by the way, we talk about hostages. We're also talking about bodies. Okay, and these trades are being made, and they're ridiculous trades. We're talking about 400 people for 3. These are nuts. And on top of that, you see the condition these people are being released in. So this is think about what we're talking about here. I mean, we're sitting around as the world sort of accepting that it's normal and okay for you to go into a place, kidnap babies, kidnap teenagers, kidnap people that have nothing to do with any wars, that are not soldiers, that are not anything, and taking them and putting them in tunnels for almost a year and a half. And we're acting like if this is a normal exchange, this is a normal thing that happens. This is an outrage. So they should all be released. So I'm not going to comment on what we're going to accept and not accept, other than all of us. The whole world should continue to say that what Hamas has done is outrageous. It's ridiculous. It's sick. It's disgusting. It should never have happened. And we shouldn't accept it as normal, as a normal negotiation. We're just dealing with some savages. That's it. These are bad people, terrible people. And we need to treat them as such. But that said, we want all the hostages out.
Is there an off-ramp for this trade war?
Mr. Secretary, there was a report that was required of the State Department as one of the first executive orders asking for countries to be identified that had insufficient vetting. Has that report gone over to the White House yet?
I'm sure if it, you mean we had a deadline to meet that. I'm sure we've met the deadline, but I have to take that back and we can get you an answer for that specifically.
Is there an off-ramp for the trade war, Mr. Secretary?
About territorial integrity.
About what?
Territorial integrity
Yeah,
for
you already
Ukraine.
asked that, yeah.
Yeah, so you said that Ukraine would have to make concessions both sides.
So will Russia, right.
What is your description of territorial integrity when it comes to Ukraine? Is it pre-
Guys, again, that's what we're going to have. Let's please. I get it, but let me just put it to you this way. There's 2 processes here. Process number 1 is how can we get shooting to stop? Because we think it's very difficult to negotiate peace while there's still shooting going on and attacks. What can we do to get that to stop to the extent possible? How can we get as much hostility as possible to stop so we can get to phase 2 of this process, which is negotiating these things that you're asking me about? I'm just stating the obvious. When people sit down and negotiate an end to wars, there's usually a give and take. What that give and take is depends on the parties that are at the table. We're not going to predetermine anything, but that's what's going to take to end the war. If there's an off-ramp on the trade, it's not about an off-ramp on the trade. There's not a trade war. This is the United States is resetting its trade relations globally, okay, and resetting relations globally to a level of equilibrium, to a level of reciprocity. And then once that's reset, we can then engage in the process of bilateral talks with Japan, with the UK, with France, with Germany, with the EU, whoever, to figure out, okay, how do we reset our trade relations so that it's fair? Because right now it's not fair. It's as simple as that. That president has stated that repeatedly. And so these are the steps that it takes to get us to that point. You can't, if you do it the other way, which is let's renegotiate, or why would they renegotiate their trade relationship with the United States if the status quo was beneficial to them? Why would someone give up something that's good for them? You have to make it fair, and then you can negotiate out, how do we get to a place that's mutually beneficial? Because the current piece of it is just not sustainable. All right?
How's your relationship with Elon Musk?
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.